Podcast on Ham. Would you listen to my podcast on Ham? I do not know your podcast, Chris I am. I won't listen to your podcast on Ham. Would you listen to it here or there? I would not listen to it anywhere. I don't know your podcast, Chris I am. I won't listen to this podcast on Ham. You may like it. You will see. You may like listening in a tree. I would not, could not, in a tree. I will not like it. Let me be. I don't know your podcast, Chris I am. I won't listen to this podcast on Ham. You do not like my podcast on Ham? I do not like it, Chris I am. Would you, if I interviewed a goat? I would not, could not, even with a goat. Not in a tree, not here or there. I will not listen anywhere. I do not know your podcast, Chris I am. I will not listen to this podcast on Ham. You do not listen, so you say. Listen, and you may. Listen, and you may, I say. Chris, if you let me be, I will listen, you will see. Welcome to the podcast on Ham with your host, Chris I am. Say, I like this podcast on Ham. I do. I like this, Chris I am. And I will listen here and there. Say, I will listen anywhere. I do like your podcast on Ham. Thank you, Chris I am.